Anyhow, I'll have to come back to that because am not going to spend time searching the carpet monster live. Crap. All right, a couple things. One of the things is I only have RLM 76. This is an earlier warbird, which needs 65. So I was playing around a little bit this morning, and I think that's the color I'm going to go with. So this color right here, that's the 76. That's a late war, mid-war, and that's the early war. And what I did is I just took some of this Russian grayish blue in a 2-to-1 mixture with basic white, and that's the color I came up with. And here you can see it on the inside of the radiators, and also on the inside of the front air intake. Did get some two, which I lightened up on the inside. I'll have to do the back sides. And we got all the radiators painted in silver, so we can install those. What we're going to focus on right now is painting this up. It's not bad. And this, and of course the cockpit interior. I also sprayed the interior color on all the clear canopy parts. I'm going to come back and probably hand paint the inside. Taping the outside was bad enough. I need some gunmetal. Get that out of the way. The intakes, I'm probably just going to hand paint those. I should do them like a rusty brown color, and I'll insert them when the build's all done. Other things we got over on the drying rack. I got the landing gear. Where did that one go? There we go. So that's all RLM. That alligator clip is broken. So I've got to just paint this little section here silver, and then of course a tire to tire color. So I'll go over here. And the spinner, we will work on this center hub and then paint the outsides. Let's see. I'm waiting how this bad boy came out. Take off all the paper clips, all the clothes pins. I get an idea. I think that came out pretty good. Shouldn't need hardly any putty. I still need to, I may see how bad this is. Hand paint that and the other flaps. Like I said, I'll spray this. It's around to it. I'll probably end up painting some of that today too. All right, so over here I've got some ochre brown for the wheels, or the trim wheels. I got a bright red, which I need to put on the palette, just to make it show off. I've got some German gray, which is not quite black gray. I've got a desert tan or yellow. Placed it a buff, but I think the buff's too white. And finally, just a light gray, sky gray. Get the sleeves out of the way. Drinking our dark roast Dickerson. Pete's Major Dickinson's coffee. And let's see what we can get done. So I'm going to start with the big stuff first, which is this German black. I need to thin it down, try and paint on camera without knocking everything over. Oh, tape. So in the instructions, let's we'll go to open to step number 1. You see they call out for the pads to be black, and they're not really well defined here. So I think this brush is going to be too big. Just stuck with my original detail brush. And all I'm going to do, now they're calling for the whole floor to be black. Still think that's a little too dark. One thing I want to do first, even before I get is touch up this instrument panel, because I'm going to need to get that ready for decals, so I'll need to glaze it. So I shouldn't have to do too much detail painting on here if I can get the decal to sit down. And we'll just come across the top, down the sides, and I won't really see those. Once the cockpit is buttoned up. And then we'll just come back here. Mindful of the little details. It appears that 1/48th. Have an opportunity to mold more details into it. Like the rudder on that chair leg right there. Hopefully you guys can still see this. Did review my video this morning, last night, and it was like, oh, so much stuff done off camera. The overhead view I couldn't really see. There's now I just got the camera in front of me. If I do more of this, which I don't know if this may be it, guys, until we do next year's challenge. I'll have to practice getting better at live streaming. There we go. Go beans. Now what else? We're going to do little hubs in here. And once we button this up, a lot of this is just going to go away. want to do is probably should get some RLM sticks out just for touch-ups. It's looking pretty good. All right, now let's get some of this. I didn't want to go with a full silver like Tamiya calls out, so I'm grabbing some, where'd it go? Army paint or gunmetal. Don't know if the bottom's necessary, but and all this will tone down once we decide to wash it. The other thing I want to do in gunmetal, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this, but the inside of the foot pedals, I'm going to do those silver. All right. And do a little chipping on the seat. Now I'm going to take our vermilion, which is a very, very bright red. A really fine little point. And here's a trigger control. All right, let's go. Da, 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 da. Yeah, I got some weird color choices. I got a reference photo over here. There's not much really that's red in the cockpit. Let's get this little handle piece here. That's too much paint. Don't be afraid to take paint off the brush. Here you can see I got still got some uneven spraying. It was tinted. I didn't want it to be a solid color. I wanted to work on it. And I'll take some of this desert tan. It makes a nice in-scale yellow color, I think. And now for a little thin this gray down a little bit. Gray is like my in-scale white. So we're just going to pick up some of these. I don't know what they are. Hydraulic lines, cable covers, housings. All right, here you go. For those of you who are new to acrylic painting, this is your magic eraser time. I made a splotch, add some water to it, dry the brush off. And I may have waited too long. Flood the zone. Gotta be quick. All right, I may have to come back. Let's also let's hit some of these. Sometimes it's easier. Turn it upside down. Okay. All right, we get more of that German gray. I'm going to base coat this panel. I'm going to assume this is some sort of radio panel, radar thingy, maybe. I don't know. Some sort of communication device with all these little buttons. Yeah, it's 1940, so there's no digital readouts. Just gonna have to look and see what buttons he's pushed. All right, and then for giggles, that crank dial's gonna get a little red on it. All right, I'll let some of that dry. So while that's drying, I'm gonna take that ochre brown. Hopefully, from what I've seen, is this is like a tan color. In the reference photos, And who knows how accurate the color ones are. A lot of them are from museum uh, restorations, and they're going by, a color chip somewhere that may have faded over time. But I do know this ochre brown makes a nice, like, pumpkiny, orangey yellow color. And to me, it can look like a nice faded, washed out, light tanned leather, like a natural, or like a vegetable tanned leather, which I imagine, kind of use the good stuff on an export airplane. When you've got a whole army that needs outfitting. And it's early war, so they gotta look good. Best dressed army in World War II. Not that it helped them out in the end, but that's what happens when you start fighting a war thinking it's the 1800s and it's the mid 20th century. All right, now let's see if we can just give the illusion with the second trim wheel. Kind of think if I were to do this again and not be on a time crunch that I may pre-paint this first wheel. Before that. Oh. There you go. The beauty of live streaming. And you forget that you're live streaming, you're trying to paint. Yeah, I think anyone looking down the cockpit will see what they want to see. All right. I'm going to clean up that. Oh, yeah. I want to. Now, this doesn't take long for that to dry. Just touch the top of the bristle brush to the raised area. Cool beans. Hands steady this morning. Must mean it's time for another sip of coffee. All right, so for now, I'm going to end up getting paint on there, but we need to let that dry a little bit with a little wash in. Get the decals on. There we go. Let's just do a little dry fit. You can see how much it is. There, it's not perfectly lined up. Something like that. So I'll throw in the, get some light on here. I don't know if that's helping or hurting. Certainly not helping. Let's come back. There we go. Once we get the decals on there, and we wash, throw a little wash on there, I think that'll look pretty good. All right, I'm gonna do that a little bit of touch up. Like I said, I've got to build up these radiators and the internals and spray the backside of these to get those white and work a little bit on the other stuff, but I'm going to do that off camera. The only thing, like I said, this has got to dry and cure a little bit before I wash it, and we'll come back later today. We are going to go out for a little bit today, so I will plan an afternoon, and we'll see the progress then. If there's anyone watching and enjoying this, give me a like and a subscribe, and we will talk to you later. Have a good day.